Jim from Come Play With Us, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing Ironwood. This is a 1 to 2 player game from Mindclash Games. Plays in about 60 minutes. Now this is a 2-player asymmetric game that you can play 1 player with either faction. There is a bot for each faction. And basically the theme of this one is it's kind of like elves versus dwarves. I think the official faction names are Ironclad versus I can't remember what these guys are called. Wood something. But basically it's elves versus the dwarves, and you're both trying to accomplish different things on this map. So let's start by talking about the components for this game. I mean, the components for this game are top notch. It's crazy. So the Ironclad, they have all their tokens are metal, good solid metal tokens. Nice detail on them. Like, this is just like above and beyond, and especially for the price point. I mean, this game's not super expensive. So all their tokens are metal. The art is really nice on the board and everything. These guys are wooden components to match their theme. Very nice little touch. It really pops on the board. Yeah, fantastic component. You get a little player board with some with the turn, kind of the round phase on them, so that's good. And the rest of it's just cards. The card quality is pretty good, but I always sleeve my cards. I would say these ones probably don't need to be sleeved, but I like to sleeve all my cards. The cards are well laid out. They're easy to read, and they have nice art on them. So component wise, this game is fantastic. You really get your money's worth with the components. The board's easy to read. It's 2-sided, 1 side for solo play and 1 side for 2-player play. And then you get these little acrylic crystals and these like cubes, and this die is just used in the solo play to help make decisions. The rule book is pretty detailed. It's well laid out. There's some iconography on the back. There is no index. There is a table of contents, but no index. So sometimes I do find myself flipping through here a little bit, but all the rules are here. There's nothing missing. There's nothing that's really vague. It's you can understand the game pretty good from the rules. So I didn't have too many questions outside the rules. So the rule book is well done. It has full page examples and that kind of thing. So all in all, components are great for this game. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the mechanics for this game. So this game, each faction, the core rules of the game are the same. So this is very similar. I'm going to be comparing this to Root because it is very similar to Root in that way, where you have a core set of mechanics that each faction follows. So the card play is the same. The combat is the same. Their movement rules are a little different. So the Ironclad will move on the mountains. The elf guys move from forest to forest, so they don't occupy the same spaces on the board, but they interact with each other. The movement is a little different too, so that's kind of interesting. Where the what are these guys called? That's really bothering me. These guys are the woodwalkers. Sorry, woodwalkers. On the AI side, it's called the woodbot, so I can't see the name of the faction. But okay, so the woodwalkers. They can move their guys one at a time, kind of thing. But the Ironclad can only move in what they call war bands. So you can only move the full group 1 space at a time. And the Ironclad can only move from mountain to mountain. The woodwalkers move from forest to forest. So that's really interesting. Those movement rules. The other thing is so what the Ironclad is trying to do. You also have you both have different kind of end game goals or goals that you're going for. So the Ironclad, they're basically mining these crystals. When they get enough crystals and a foundation, they first have to build a foundation, and then once they build a foundation, they got to gather enough crystals that they can build a forge there, which just flips this over. The Ironclad's trying to build 3 forges. When they build their 3rd forge, they win the game automatically. The woodwalkers are trying to find totems. They've got these totems that they need to discover, so they have an extra deck of cards here that gives them totems that they can go grab. Then they have to get to kind of that area when the space is uncontrolled, then they can discover the totem and it comes on the board. And then they have two rounds basically to get this totem to an outer forest. And then once they get 3 totems, they win the game. So they so that's really interesting. Again, that's very similar to Root, where you have kind of different. You're playing different games almost, but this one is a lot more area control focused than Root is. The combat is very simple. You're just going to you each get a chance to play a card from your hand. If you're playing against the bot, it's just going to flip a card, and you're just comparing stats. So there's 3 stats: your attack value, your shields, and dominance. And so shields block attacks. Anything left over, you remove units. And then whoever has the most dominance at the end wins. Dominance is you just count up your remaining units, add the dominance values, and that's the winner. And then the winner can push. If there's units left on the other side, they can cause them to retreat to an adjacent space. Clean, simple. Really love the combat in this game. I like that they're keeping it simple, and there's still lots of good decisions to make there with the combat. The Woodwalkers just have 1 type of unit, whereas the Ironclad have a couple types of units. So they've got just the regular units, but they also have golems that they can bring in play. These bigger guys. They're only slightly different. They take 2 damage, and I think they add an extra damage when you attack or during combat. So those are cool, but they have the different types there. And like I said, the movement rules will affect things. So the Woodwalkers are more nimble than the Ironclad, whereas the Ironclad have to move in kind of groups. So the other thing this Ironclad has is this kind of driller thing that they move around to get the crystals. And the way this works is every time you move to a mountain, you move up this track here, which will give you crystals and do various things. And then once it gets back to a forge, then it'll drop the crystals off. So when this thing's gathering crystals, they kind of go in the cargo hold, and when it gets to a forge, they drop the crystals off, and then they go into their supply. That's cool. Because you start off with the Ironclad only starts off with 1 forge in the middle here, and of course they got to build 3 forges to win the game. But every time they build a forge, they got a new place where they can drop off their crystals. Also, the Ironclad can only recruit new units at a forge. So at the beginning of the game, they can only recruit new units in the middle. As they get forges out, they get more options for recruiting new units. The Woodwalkers can recruit on the outside forest edges, and the Ironclad cannot attack these outside forests, and the Woodwalkers cannot attack from the outside forest. So it's all really neat. I love all those little mechanics. They're pretty easy to remember. There's not a ton of rules for this game, so once you get into the swing of this, it's pretty simple. But there's a lot of strategy. So pretty cool. Okay, so let's start with what don't I like about this game. There's not. I'm gonna have a hard time with this one because there's not really much I don't like about this game. I think that the most maybe the complexity of the AI. I'm going to talk about the AI also and what I like, but the AI is pretty complex to run. So I'm going to say if you're a solo player who likes more like a Stonemaier games type AI where you're just flipping a card and then doing what it says, and the AI is more about kind of like a cheaty AI that's just building a score against you, then this one's going to be a bit more harder for you to run because the AI is quite complex. There's a lot of rules. I've played this quite a bit solo, and I'm constantly still going back to the rules to check what the AI does, especially because there's 3 kind of different stances on either side that the AI uses to determine what areas it's targeting and things like that. So yeah, the AI is pretty complex. That's about the only thing I can say about this game that I don't like. So what do I like about this game? This is a great game. Like the AI is complex, but you do get the reward for the complexity there. Playing against the AI does feel like playing like against a real player. It's not one of those AIs, like I said, that it's just building a score for you to beat. It does react to what you do and that kind of thing. So that's why it's so complex, but it also makes it really fun because it feels like I'm playing against a real opponent It doesn't always do the smartest thing. Sometimes I think when I'm playing against the ironclad bot, it really protects the center here, even if you're about to win the game, which is weird because the wood walkers bot does not do the same thing. It actually has different conditions that it does if the ironclad are about to win the game. So I don't know if that's a miss or something like that. But that's the only thing I found wonky about the AI. Otherwise, I thought the AI is pretty good. It also scales in difficulty, so they've got a bunch of levels that you can play. So it starts easy, because one of the main drivers of the AI are kind of these symbols on the bottom of the card. And so when you're playing the beginner mode, you only execute the normal color symbols. There's also red symbols on here. And so the first kind of difficulty leap that you make is you use all the symbols on those cards, and then they have other things that they add if you're finding the game too easy. So lots of flexibility there. The solo game is great. The AI is really good and detailed, but like I said, you are paying for that with complexity. The AI is quite complex. So if you're not somebody who likes a complex bot to run, then you might want to shy away from this for solo play. But I think it's quite good. Other things I like about this game, I'm gonna say I'm a big Root fan, but Root's not great at 2 players. I'm thinking that if you love Root, but also don't find Root great at 2, and you want a Root-like experience that's good for 2, then you might want to try this game, because I think this game might really fill that niche. The only downside to that is there's only 2 factions in this game. I'm thinking they will bring out more factions eventually. Probably a whole other boxes, I'm guessing. But yeah, this does give you a really good Root-like feel with the asymmetric play and the area control, and the factions that kind of do neat different things, but in a really solid 2-player experience. So if that's something you're looking for, I think you might want to try this out, because it's pretty good. I also like there's a lot of different strategies in this game. It is a bit of a race to try to get to that end game to get your score, but there's also a lot of back and forth. It's like there's the biggest decisions in this game is when the other player is going for their thing, the totem, or to build the forge. It's like you've got to make that decision with, oh, I can get my thing out right now. Should I go for getting my thing out to try to race ahead, or should I just try to stymie the other player and slow them down? That's the real neat tension in this game. That kind of push and pull of when should you try to slow down the other player versus trying to race ahead. I think that's really cool. The combat is fun and quick in this game, but it's not super. I mean, it is super important, but it's not a full-out combat game where that's the only way to win the game. You can be nimble and do some interesting tricks in this game to get around things. The other cool thing is you can. What I forgot to mention in the mechanics is this: you can attack this drill, and if you do, you can take like a steel crystal from it and cause the ironclad player to lose crystal. So that's a nice, interesting effect to try to slow down the ironclad player without going directly after their areas. You could try to slow them down by depleting their crystal supply. So things like that. There's nice little touches. Also, there's a lot of interesting cards. You've got a full deck here of different cards to learn. If I don't even think I've seen all these cards yet, or been through this full deck. So you do have 3 cards in your deck that always stay in your deck. So you can get you've got some basic actions that you're always going to have on your turn, and then that's going to get supplemented by a full deck of unique cards for each faction that do neat and interesting things that really keep the gameplay interesting and unique. Okay, so overall, how do I feel about this game? I'm giving this game an 8. I think this game is fantastic. It's good at 2 players and also a really good solo experience. I like the fact that you've got 2 bots here, so you can play either or. Both bots work really well and are fun to play against. So, I think that gives this game a lot of replayability. Also, I'm looking forward to hopefully more games in this series with new factions to try out, because yeah, this one's really fun. As usual, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.